What up, man? I'm DD, and this is DD Got a Point, one of the newest yet fastest growing YouTube channels on the platform. The goal is to be up 10,000 subscribers by next month, 50,000 subscribers by the summertime, and 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Yes, you heard me correctly. It is a reality, but it is only a reality if you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're rocking with the video. Thank you all so much for your help. Now let's get into the video. Alright, man, so the playoffs are here, or at least for the most part, and like most people, I don't care what's happening out there in the East, so we're going to look at the West. And I don't know how anybody in good conscience with two eyeballs can watch the Warriors-Clippers game last night and not tell me that it was clear that the Warriors lost that game on purpose. They blew the game on purpose, bro. And proof of that, we'll get to the last play, which I think is evident in itself. But let's back up a little bit. Even if you watch the game all together, in my personal opinion, I mean, they had uncharacteristic rotations all throughout the game. In my opinion, some of their lineups were a little weird at times. He was resting certain guys longer than expected. I mean, and they didn't really push the tempo like that throughout the game the way they do sometimes. Yes, there were several points in the game when they did, but I personally don't believe that they were trying. I mean, their effort on defense looked suspect at times. And for a team that usually turns up in big moments, Golden State's defense kind of looks soft at times. And then this layup right here, which somebody in the comment section said, Draymond Green with his patented fadeaway layup. And then he did his infamous kick at the same time. If you look at this layup, yes, Draymond Green blew the layup. He was trying to draw a foul and get an and one for whatever reason. But here's my personal opinion. I think as I watched that play, Draymond Green's reaction after he missed it said what I needed to know. Not that he was supposed to hang his head and make it super obvious that he was sad that he missed it, but I'm watching the game and I'm saying to myself, Draymond doesn't look that disappointed that he missed that layup. He just didn't look that disappointed. And then you move to Steph Curry, or a lack of Steph Curry, when it came to the end, the last play. So you mean to tell me, if you're Steve Kerr, you have a chance to tie the game and take it into overtime, you inbound the ball for Buddy Hield, who I like. I'm not going to give him as much criticism as a lot of other people have been doing. Buddy Hield is a great shooter, been a great shooter throughout his career. Yes, he makes a lot of boneheaded plays, don't have the highest IQ at times, but you quite literally have the greatest shooter ever on your team. How do you not run a play for him? There's more than enough time really for Steph to not even just have a play to catch and shoot it. He had a little bit more time, but nonetheless, you run a play for Steph, bro. You live with the results if you're really trying to win this game. If they were to win this game, as we all know, they would have matched up against the Lakers, bro. They would have matched up against the Lakers, and they're not trying to do that. Regardless of how you feel about LeBron, he is who I got him number 2 all time. His record in the playoffs is incredible. And what you don't want to do is see him early. Not to mention that he got that dog Luka on his team now. And Luka's record in the playoffs, if you look at Luka's numbers, yes, his winning record may not be as impeccable because he ran into the loaded Clippers team, which, in my opinion, underperformed and just barely beat the Mavericks for like 2 years in a row. But Luka was averaging like a 35-point triple-double, bro. And he was pretty efficient. You don't want to see them in the first round, right? You risk, God forbid, I never wish injuries on anybody, but you let some other team like a younger Minnesota Timberwolves tire them out. Maybe somebody tweak an ankle, strain a hamstring or something, and they got to sit out for a couple of games. You know what I'm saying? You played your cards correctly. And by them losing this game, let's look at the matchups out in the West. So, of course, you got Oklahoma City sitting at 1. They'll play whoever turns out to be the eventual A seed. You got the Houston Rockets sitting at 2. They'll play the winner of Golden State and the Memphis Grizzlies game, which I believe is taking place tomorrow. And then the loser of the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies game will play the winner of the Sacramento Kings and the Dallas Mavericks game. Whoever wins that game will eventually play the 1 seed in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then, of course, you got the Lakers and the Timberwolves. You got the Nuggets and the Clippers. If I'm Golden State Warriors, I'd much rather rest in my career because I'll have a longer playoff run. Yes, it comes down to one game and you could potentially miss everything. Yes, sure. But if I'm talking to my veterans on my team, I'm saying, hey, do y'all feel like we can beat the Rockets in the playoff series compared to the Lakers? If we do, we need to rest everything on this last game against the Memphis Grizzlies. Yes, we don't want to underestimate them, but we like our chances. Steph, you do you. Draymond, you do you. And they got Jimmy Butler, who has played very well for this team, but especially last night against the Clippers. He played solid. He showed you, no, I'm still the same Jimmy Butler over the past 4 years for the Miami Heat. I still can provide that type of production. But I'm just very shocked as I'm watching some of my favorite sports content creators, and it just seemed to go over everybody's head. I'm like, I mean, you gotta see that. They're not trying to see the Lakers, bro. That's why they ran that play for Buddy Hield. God forbid they run it for Steph Curry, he misses. And for those of you who say, well, if they was trying to lose the game, then he could have just sat Steph Curry. He could have just sat Draymond Green. He could have just rested Jimmy Butler for half the game, something along those lines. Here's the problem. You don't want to give that psychological advantage to any other team. What do I mean? If you sit your players, it's obvious to the rest of the league, but especially the Lakers, that you dodging them. So if they ever run up against you, their confidence is through the roof. Even if they already feel like they can beat y'all, if you make it obvious that you're trying to avoid them, as long as you have to, that affirms and confirms what they already feel and know. And now when they play you, their confidence is even higher. You don't want to give any team a psychological advantage. Go out there, play hard, try to avoid injuries, make it look competitive, make it look like you're really trying, rely on your patented fadeaway layups, and then run the last play that could tie the game for Buddy Hield. That's how you lose that game, period. Not only that, but it's also disrespect to the Houston Rockets. Because if you end up not playing your starters, that tells the Lakers that you're dodging them, and it also tells the Rockets that you're looking for them. Which means they're like, we're the higher seed. You don't take us serious? You don't think we're legit? It gives them an extra battery pack and more reason to want to play and beat you as well. Because if you end up doing all of that, resting your players, and then losing against the Rockets, you look even worse in the end. So go out there and make it look like you really care. Because if I turn out to be wrong, and they were actually trying to win that game, then this statement right here by Draymond Green is going to probably age very, very badly.
And since he's been here, we've walked into every game thinking and believing that we're going to win that game. And that goes a long way in this league. When you walk in the game like, we're probably going to lose this game, it's not good. And so he's brought back that belief, and I think we're going to win the championship.
And I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Kawhi Leonard, when healthy, in the playoffs, you can make an argument that he's a top, I don't know if I'm ready to say top 5 player just yet, but he is a top 7 or 8 player in the league. Top 10 just don't do it. It doesn't really just speak to how well he's playing on both ends, but more so on the offensive end. Over the last 15 games, this man has averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 2 steals, and half a block on 53% shooting from the field, only 31% shooting from the 3-point range, which isn't really that good, especially for him. 86% from the free throw line, which even for Kawhi Leonard, that's even not that good, but it's still better than most people in the league, with a true shooting percentage of 61. If y'all watched the game last night, normally the Warriors commentators are so annoying, so biased, that it almost makes you not even want to watch the game anymore. They were praising Kawhi Leonard the whole game. They're like, this guy's a robot. He doesn't miss. Somebody needs to do something. They started double teaming. I don't think they started double teaming him until like maybe halfway through the third quarter, early in the fourth, something like that. But Kawhi Leonard has been in playoff mode, I would say, for the past 2 weeks. And after watching last night's game, with him being my second favorite player, Nikola Jokic, I'm bittersweet about them matching up in the playoffs because I would much rather have seen them go against other teams and not against each other right away. But I guess it's bittersweet because I still get to see both of them play. It's just one of them got to lose. You know what I mean? So this is going to be very, very exciting. Excited for where the playoffs is headed. But I don't know. Y'all hop in the comment section. Give me your thoughts. You know, I'm Demetrius. I go by DD. That's all for this one, man. I'm excited for the playoffs. Let's see how things turn out. Until next time. Peace. Oh, yeah. DD got a point.